15 Disney Channel stars who hated each other. Miley Cyrus ampersand Emily Osment. These Disney stars really know how to keep the career rolling. Emily has her own show now, Young and Hungry, and is trying to look hot and not look like her brother from The Sixth Sense. Miley, on the other hand, well, we all know she's been busy. She came in like a wrecking ball, worked, performed favors on plastic dolls, sang her heart out, and lashed her tongue around like a snake. And Miley snuck in a few acting roles too. Interesting to note is that both actresses did their all grown-up roles on 2.5 Men. Of course, the pair began their careers on Hannah Montana, but the besties were not actually friends. Miley made that point abundantly clear in her 2009 autobiography, Miles to Go. The show felt real to me, and I wanted my relationship with Lily to feel real too. I knew it didn't have to show business is show business, but I was disappointed. There were times when I didn't think we could ever be. Selena Gomez ampersand Demi Lovato. These two. It's like you need to hire a Sherpa to navigate through all their rocky ups and downs. They were kind of on a sitcom together once, years ago, if Barney the Big Purple Dinosaur counts. The show paired the 7-year-old girls together and they became the best of buds. Then they made a Disney TV movie called Princess Protection Program. Then after that they started hating each other when a boy named Bieber entered Selena's life. Demi obviously thought the dude was a loser, and the pair got into a huge fight. When a paparazzi asked Demi how Selena was doing, she quipped, "Ask Taylor Swift," but then the besties got back together. Then Demi dissed Selena in hilarious fashion with a trilogy of Weeks Swimming Away. From Your BS by BTCH. The messages were complete with corresponding photos of Demi literally swimming away. But then the besties got back together again. That was the abridged version. There were way more ups and downs, trust me. California ampersand Zendaya. Everybody saw this one coming, right? These two beautiful girls have such huge egos that they were bound to bump heads big time. It appears that during the entire first season of Shake It Up they were set against each other like a pair of pit bulls. In an interview, Bella said, "Zendaya and I were put in a very unfortunate position where we were kind of forced to compete against each other, which made the whole first season of the show just very awkward for us." Yeah, right. I'm sure the Disney execs made you compete. This sounds like a scapegoat excuse to me. Just tell the world you don't like the girl and we can all be satisfied. Why is it that most Hollywood people can't just say, "Yeah, I hate you"? There's always this phony sense of manners that comes in with these people. It's a survival instinct. They don't want to appear like they're hard to work with, but instead they just look like a Debby Ryan ampersand Skai Jackson. Social media is always slightly weird and very cryptic sometimes too. Allegedly, the concept of a feud between Jessie stars Debby Ryan and Skai Jackson occurred after Debby attended the Kids' Choice Awards. She started tweeting about all the fun she was having. A Twitter follower asked who she was sitting with at the awards show and Ryan said the kids from the cast of Jessie. But then somebody else commented to Ryan that they were surprised that she was sitting with Skai, since Skai had talked SHT about her. Debby responded with, "That's sad, but not really my business." An odd response, right? The mean accusations were never denied, which more or less makes them true. And Skai does seem to have an attitude problem. Later, the 14-year-old Skai got into a huge Twitter battle with rapper Azealia Banks, and Banks did not mess around, throwing insults at the minor that were even directed at the actress's mom. But Skai didn't hesitate and fired nasty insults. Lynch ampersand Laura Marano. The show Austin in LA is another one of those Disney sitcoms that is so sweet and funny that you almost vomit. But hey, that's kind of how the Disney Channel rolls. This one is about a duo of musicians who are kind of opposite personalities, but they make it work somehow. The show was created by the same guys that did Sunny with a Chance and Jonas, so you know these dudes can write an endless amount of cheeseball lyrics with a jumpy beat. The cast members who had beef on this show were the two leads, Austin and Ally themselves. They claim that they argued all the time, and that it was cute, like the way husband and wife argue. Okay, now that's the most youthful, naive crap line ever. You think married people like to argue? Of course not. The truth is that the two leads could not stand each other and Disney execs urged them to spin it in a way that would sound less jarring, if not totally cliché, and loving. Oh. JoMarie Payton ampersand Jaleel White. Yes, Family Matters was originally included on the ABC network's TGIF rollout of programs, which featured Full House and a bunch of other fluff shows that were essentially the precursors of all Disney sitcoms. Once Steve Urkel arrived on the scene, wackiness and kids became the focal point of the story, which resembled the Disney sitcom structure even more. Ratings went up and Urkel's character was the talk of the town. But not everybody was happy about the changes. JoMarie Payton hated him. She played the mother of the Family Matters family and she was supposed to be the star, not some nerd with suspenders and a high-pitched voice. It was Peyton who inspired the creation of the show, which was actually a spin-off of her feisty character from Perfect Strangers, another ABC Disney-owned comedy. Peyton got so fed up that she quit the show and had to be replaced by Selena. The Sprouse twins. Can Selena Gomez get into some trouble with her castmates or what? Why do so many people feud with her? Is she that annoying? Or does she just take what she wants and then the haters get jealous? We haven't even mentioned her current boyfriend, Canadian pop singer the Weeknd. Selena swooped in on this dude like 3 minutes after he and Bella Hadid broke up, and they had been dating for years. Selena just doesn't care though, huh? Well, her pattern of behavior has been proven by this list, and Dylan Sprouse backs it up further. He co-starred with Selena on Sweet Life, and apparently didn't like her too much. Seems he too may have been bitter about her colossal success in this tweet. Oh, I get it, Selena. Too good to follow your old pals Dylan and Cole, huh? This is just like when we were 12. Never forget. Wow, talk about holding a grudge. Sometimes Tim Allen & Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Here's another ABC show Disney owned that could have easily made big ratings on the Disney Channel, but didn't need to, since it was killing it on the national network. In fact, Home Improvement was the most popular comedy of 1993 before beating out Seinfeld, Roseanne and Friends. The show dominated the entire 90s decade and launched the careers of Tim Allen and Pamela Anderson, who starred in the first 2 seasons. Another favorite character on the show was played by Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who was the cute and clever middle son of Tim Allen. Well, things were going great, but that wasn't enough for JTT, who abruptly left the show to go study abroad. Study abroad? You kidding me? Tim Allen was understandably mad when this decision was announced. And it was worse than hate, it was more like fatherly disappointment, which turned into rage when JT Ariana Grande & Victoria. Justice alert. This was a Nick series, not Disney. But for the point of this article, what's the difference? Nick sitcoms are just wannabe Disney sitcoms. Nickelodeon is a poor man's Disney in every way. They're lucky Disney doesn't buy them up and shut them down. Disney just keeps Nick around so there's perspective on how much better they are than the competition. Really, if it wasn't for Double Dare and SpongeBob, Nick would have died years ago. But back to the feud. These girls hated each other and it all came out in a Twitter battle. Ariana tweeted, "Sweetheart, the only reason Victorious ended is because one girl didn't want to do it. She chose to do a solo dare instead of a cast dare. If we had done a cast dare, Nickelodeon would have ordered another season of Victorious while Sam and Kat filmed simultaneously, but she chose otherwise." Then Victoria tweeted, "Some people would throw someone they consider a friend under the bus just to make themselves look good. Stop being defini if they look new." Not sure who started this one, but I gotta side with Vic. Grande has ended. Raven Simone & Cheetah Girls. Raven skipped the final full-length Cheetah Girls film, Cheetah Girls, One World. Can you blame her? She had gotten fed up with the whole Cheetah Girls idea. You know she hated those girls. They were all riding her wave since day one. Raven was the famous one. She was the star from The Cosby Show and hanging with Mr. Cooper. Raven was the one with her own show all lined up, with her freaking name in the title even. Sure, maybe Raven wasn't the prettiest girl in the cast, but what has Audrey and Dalen really done besides shaking her butt on red carpets and dancing in the background of music videos? And let's restate the point from the intro. You get too many overachievers on one stage and it's over. Here's how Raven stated it. "It was weird, putting together young women our ages 19 to 22, one of whom had not been in the mix. I'll be honest. There were territorial issues. There were catfights. It was not all peaches and cream." Jake T. Austin & Selena Gomez. Here's another diss on Miss Selena Gomez. So far in her career, the hot brunette had been on Barney, bounced around Disney sitcoms, and finally found her A game at Waverly Place. At first, the siblings, 2 brothers and a sister, were pretty equal. I mean, the lead was always meant for Selena, but the scripts shared time with everybody. Then as Selena got bigger, better, hotter, whatever you care to call it, her part in the show also got bigger, as did her image on the movie posters, merchandise, ego and so on. Well, it seems that the baby bro on the show, Jake T. Austin, was just plain old jealous. When Selena decided to move on and leave Waverly behind, Jake got mad and tweeted, "When an artist's definition of growing with their fans is creating content they aren't even allowed to see seems..." Lindsay Lohan & America Ferrera. Disney owns ABC, so we consider this feud totally applicable. And Lilo is involved, so you know it's gonna be good. Plus Ugly Betty is a mild sitcom that could have been aired on Disney if they needed it to. Ugly Betty was about a nerd who gets a job in the fashion business. Of course, in real life, America Ferrera is smoking hot and they just threw on some fake glasses and braces. Anyway, the show needs a ratings boost, so they bring in Lohan for 6 episodes. But America and Lohan hate each other, so 6 is soon cut to 4. The biggest conflict on set was, believe it or not, a pantsing. Lohan was playing one of Betty's old high school bullies, and Betty finally got even and pulls Lilo's pants down. But it seems like Lindsay hadn't read the script beforehand, because at rehearsal, she was not prepared, and when she got pants, she had no undies on underneath. Apparently Leela was so embarrassed she started crying. Also, after Lohan left the show, ABC had to repaint her dressing room because she had smoked so much, and also had to clean up a pile of tablets. Ashley Tisdale ampersand Lucas Grabeel. So I have to be honest right off the bat here. Not a big fan of Ashley Tisdale. Sure, she's pretty, but you know what? I'm totally a Vanessa Hudgens guy. So I really can't blame Lucas Grabeel for not really getting along with Ashley. The whole time he must have thought she was annoying. He's probably thinking, damn, why didn't I get Efren's part? I could be getting with Vanessa right now instead. Of course Ashley had a different point of view on this one, and had to rationalize why Lucas hated her. In People magazine Tisdale said, we would hardly talk to each other, because when I was auditioning for Sharp, I screen tested with him and I was acting like Sharp. I think he was like, who is this girl telling me what to do? Yeah, sure, Ashley. You are such a phenomenal actress that when you were in character you had transformed into Rowan Blanchard ampersand Uriah Shelton. If you've ever been forced to sit through an episode, I'm sure you'll agree that Girl Meets World is one of the prettiest and most unrealistically written Disney sitcoms out there. So naturally fans are going to accuse the lead, Rowan Blanchard, of being a phony. Blanchard was even cyberbullied on Twitter for being fake and lying, saying that she loved all her cast members. But then Sabrina Carpenter, the blonde co-star, backed up Rose's claims and said that the cast was truly very close, except for one guy. He's not a leading member of the cast, but Ro doesn't like him anyway. Uriah Shelton plays Ro's young uncle and he made some anti-feminist remarks, which Rowan was not happy about. Uriah liked a statement on Instagram, which said, society doesn't need feminism. Apparently there were a few other egg posts that also weren't so PC. Rowan's followers were begging her to lay into the guy and end Uriah, but Ro took the high road. She was surely upset with his remarks. Miley Cyrus ampersand Selena Gomez. If you check out the IMDb on some of these Disney stars back in the early day of their career, it's amazing how much they bounced from one Disney sitcom to the next. Selena was on Sweet Life, then Hannah, then Sweet Life again, as a different character before finally landing a more permanent gig on Wizards of Waverly Place. It's like the Disney execs knew they had something hot but just couldn't find the right fit. They eventually did, however, and Wizards launched Selena into superstardom. But back to her early days when she co-starred on Hannah Montana, with Hannah herself, Miley Cyrus. Those two future pop stars hated each other, and you want to know why? At the time they were both in love with Nick Jonas. Jonas and Miley had just ended a long